Hello everyone, this is Kuroda giving you a shoutcast in a game between FXO's SC and Mouse Sports' HasuObs here on Metalopolis. It promises to be a great game. This is going to be Terran versus Protoss. Now, one of the things I do want to mention is I just got back from MLG and I think we've really seen a large paradigm and metagame shift into Blue Flame Hellions. If you guys didn't watch or didn't get to watch any of those games, hopefully at some point in time the replays will be released to the casters, and then if I'm lucky enough to be one of those casters, I will cast some of those games. But I must say, over MLG weekend, it was a horrible day to be a worker, as Blue Flame Hellions were in abundance and units were just getting killed left and right. We'll see if Blue Flame Hellions do make an appearance here, as we see HasuObs spawning as the yellow Protoss at the 12 o'clock position. Meanwhile, SC spawning as the orange Terran here at the 3 o'clock position. I know the colors look very similar here, but on the minimap, it is much better, and I'm so glad to start casting once again. Oh, and a very early gateway coming in. I think he actually slowed down his probe production for this, so a gateway before the barracks was even placed down. Now, a couple things to note. I missed casting so much that at one point I was watching some of the games on the big screens where they didn't have any casters, and I started talking to myself, and yeah, I got some strange looks from people like, who the heck are you? What are you doing? So, yeah, a little odd there, but hopefully I didn't distract anyone from enjoying MLG all too much. A lot of great games. I met a lot of great people. I signed my first autograph, and I looked at the guy. I'm like, I don't know what to do. No one's ever asked me. I signed this piece of paper. Yeah. Okay. Enough of the weird banter stuff coming in from my side. Yes, that is my name. If you care to look at it, I am Asian. Anyways, an SCV now making its way down, and also Hasu coming in with this probe. Gonna take a look around as well. You got to remember, this is the MLG version of Metalopolis, so cross or ally spawns are not possible. And also there are supply depots down here on the low ground. A lot of people are very happy that MLG decided to keep Metalopolis in the map pool, even though it is not part of the ladder 3 or season 3 ladder map pool. SCV now wandering around on the inside, and we are going to be seeing a little bit of an earlier Cybernetics core. Are we going to see perhaps Warp Gate, or are we going to actually see an expansion attempt? That would be very interesting to see an expansion attempt, as we do have 400 minerals. And yeah, it looks like it was going to be for one moment a 4-gate, and then after that early gateway and after that early Cybernetics core, but then deciding to change it up there as that SCV just wanders around now on the inside. You can see it is going to a barracks into a factory. We are going into a second gas, so my assumption will be a starport will be added, a Hellion will be trained, followed by a tech lab. The Hellion going to try to wrestle away a little bit of map control, and then perhaps some Banshee harassment. There are a decent number of Marines on the front door, supply depots, now trying to attempt to finish off this wall-in location here as the SCV just attempting to, just hide around inside the base just a little bit. It looks like the SCV may get zapped a little bit right there. Yeah, SC not doing a good job keeping track, but there you go. That SCV just getting as much information as possible, wandering around inside here. And oh, we had a double team of probes, and I believe as soon as that stalker comes out, that SCV, you can just count down the seconds until it's dead. Probably about another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. There you go. So yeah, didn't even make it a decent 5. There we go. We are gonna have that one factory now up and play. There is no Hellion at all, so it is gonna be a swap there, landing now that one starport, and no Hellion, but it is just going to be an early Banshee most likely, and waiting for it. No, going for the cloak first, then the Banshee. I'm not quite sure about that. A lot of players say get the Banshee first, you'll have more energy. Other players say get the cloak, you can save that Banshee. It's really a matter of preference right now. There's really there's no hard and fast rule at this stage that I know of, as a stalker now shooting down this one's almost able to shut down that SCV, building the bunker there. So the stalker now being forced to push back. He did actually take some critical damage, as that bunker will be able to hold off there, and now it is going to be 2 bases against 1. Now we should be seeing Banshees coming out, and after the double Banshees, we should perhaps see some Hellions and then some siege tanks. The Banshee pressure early on, a very, very common strategy, laying down that early Banshee pressure, and then trying to follow it up with Marine tank, as the Banshees are able to slow down the economy, and then those Warp Gates are not able to pump out as many units. But we are going to have that Observer out already. Stalkers already in position. HasuObs with a decent, or already a large number of Stalkers at this stage. 7 minutes into this game, 4 Stalkers will be able to easily shut down this any Banshee play. So I believe SC is actually behind at this stage. As you can see, trying to get off one shot there, but taking so much damage onto that Banshee. The Stalkers, however, do not have Blink. So they're going to be they're going to have to walk a little bit in a strained situation here. The probe's already being forced to pull back away, and now there's the cloak. Now getting some damage onto those probes. Now one probe down, a second probe may get taken down. Are we going to get 3 probes? We need to get 5 for that Banshee to really be worth its weight in cost. And now instead going after a lower hit point Stalker. That Stalker now taking a bit more critical damage, but now in comes the Observer. The Banshee realizes this and now backs away, but a new fresh Banshee coming back, joining the party, getting even more kills, and now this is a bit of a problem. Are we going to get a second Observer out? No, the Observer slowly making its way back in as another Banshee coming back in. So really nicely done by SC. Split Banshee tactics here, getting in a decent amount of damage as that Banshee is now down to, or out of energy, and this is the problem where he got Cloak first, and I think if he just had a little bit more energy, he perhaps could have pressured a little bit longer, but wow, able to save that Banshee at 10 hit points. We should now have a decent number of siege tanks as well. You're gonna see those SCVs repair those Banshees. 3 siege tanks will roll out in just a moment, along with those Marines and Banshees, and then perhaps putting a bit more pressure here. Now there are a decent number of Stalkers. We are going into Immortals, and those Immortals will be key at trying to shut down those tanks. Those Immortals dealing 50 damage in attack, but their shields do get depleted rather quickly by Banshees and Marines. Banshees dealing 20 damage per attack because they do have a split attack, one of the benefits on Banshees against Immortals, as opposed to dealing a straight 24 damage. But then by Guardian Shield and Armor, it does get evened out a little bit there. I am still surprised that I don't see a command center coming in from SC. SC is almost going to be all inning with this strategy and this tactic. We now see more Immortals being added on. Taking a look at the army count. Army counts are fairly even as the Banshees now laying waste and completely destroying that one pylon there. Another pylon may get destroyed over here. Those Banshees do have a decent amount of range, able to perhaps pick and choose his battles as a decent number of SCVs. Wow, a rather large number of SCVs joining in on this fight. 17 SCVs. The probe did perhaps see this very large army now coming in. You can see Hasu very smart in making sure that the tanks are not within siege range there. Banshees now simply destroying destroying that pylon there, as the Hellion now almost venturing out a little bit too far. We do have Guardian Shield, so the Sentry will be able to throw up a Guardian Shield. Siege tanks are now sieging, and will this be able to deal that much damage? And a poor Hellion moving out a little bit too far. Banshees now attempting to shut down this location here. They are going to have 5 Banshees. The Banshees now just laying waste, and there is an easy Immortal to shut down. Is that Immortal going to get shut down? Marines now both sides battling now. Immortals shutting down the siege tanks rather quickly. SCVs need to perhaps repair. Another Immortal may get taken down. Not quite sure why he's not cloaking. I do not believe there is an Observer anywhere nearby, and that is an issue with no cloak at all. I believe SC is just taking a beating, and he could have easily won that battle, dealt more damage to those Stalkers, perhaps focused on those Immortals instead of the Immortals focusing on the siege tanks. And this is a very, very sad day. Banshee pilots forgetting the cloak here on Metalopolis. Another Observer was added, and I just need to see now. Was there Observer nearby? No, I believe there was there's 2 Observers total, but where was that other Observer? No, that was a probe, so I don't know where that other Observer actually is, and it's very difficult to spot on. So up here. So there was an Observer close by enough, but I think those Banshees could have easily destroyed. And now you see the worker count, 31 SCVs compared to 48. This is going to be an uphill battle for SC, as we now see HasuObs taking up his 3rd base, while we still are now finally seeing SC taking up his 2nd, and trying to upgrade that to an orbital command. A lot of damage being dealt to these pylons. I believe this is perhaps the 5th or 5th or 6th pylon to be destroyed, and we still don't see a Twilight Council. Those Stalkers will not be able to blink underneath those Banshees, but that is a nice swarm or a nice fleet of Banshees in the air, and the Marines attempting to perhaps draw over that one observer and then be able to scanner sweep and shut it down. A forge now being added as well. Weapons upgrade should be coming in just a moment. The Banshees now hugging that far corner. It does look like a robotics bay now being added, but these Banshees are going to get a lot of damage. Pylon quickly getting destroyed. Now going after the robotics bay. The robotics bay already down to 400 hit points. It may get canceled, but going after Banshees now. And oh, trading a Banshee for a Stalker, not a good trade at all. But now this is going to be a bit of a problem as those Stalkers are on the far side of the map. And now even that Banshee or that Stalker, oh, walking straight into the line of those backlash rockets. So much damage being dealt. Observer now finally making its way in. This may be a very, very bad trade as there's so many Banshees in the air that there's not enough Stalkers to really handle it. And wow, SC really dealing a lot more damage than I would have expected with just Banshees. These Banshees have been the hero unit so far in this battle. Robotics Bay will get shut down. Once it goes, once again, there it goes. And now, even though, take a look at the worker kills, 27 to 17, 42 workers compared to 36, as all the probes have now made their way over here. Is SC going to find them is the key question. The Banshees do not know about this base just quite yet. Now going to fly into here. There is an observer already. Banshees now coming in. Stalkers coming in as well. There is the cloak, but the observers are close by enough to reveal it as another Banshee, perhaps going to hug the far side here, get in some more damage, finish off these units over there, as the observer is just sticking close by to them. And now another quick 1 kill, 2 kills coming in. Probes now trying to come back down over here, but I believe this Banshee just can sit in that position there and didn't enjoy just the free reign of destruction that these Banshees are able to do in this matchup so far. We are now 16 game minutes here. A Banshee getting shot down there. I believe the Stalkers will not be able to catch up to that Banshee any longer as it is too far away. The Banshees once again backing away. Stalkers do move much more quickly. The Observers, does it actually have the movement speed upgrade? No, it does not. That would have been perhaps a better upgrade to get with that robotics bay that was up. Extended thermal lance ranges does take quite a bit of time. The Banshees are now attempting to outrun the Stalkers. It looks like the Banshees will be able to outrun them there. And now these Stalkers just going to continue to hunt around. Taking a look at the army combinations, 4,000 minerals versus 3,000 minerals, as we are now getting a lot more Marines. We are getting Stim, still no combat shield, as SC is able to produce this very large army impressively with only one base and only 4 production buildings, finally getting up a 5th one now. It looks like we are going to be getting a little bit of a reprieve here. Both players do not want to engage. They don't want to overextend themselves. They realize, or SC realizes, one base play right now is not where he wants to be. He needs to establish another command center in just a moment. You can see a lot of SCVs oversaturating this 1-1 mineral patch there. Perhaps some should be transferred down, but as soon as they're transferred down and more SCVs are trained, this is going to be oversaturated as well. So another command center should be coming in, being trained up as well in order to take this 3rd high ground location. You can see now a very large army of Stalkers on the move. Psystorm being added as well, so that Psystorm perhaps going to melt apart all these Marines, feedback onto those Banshees as well. There's also a Raven in the air, so that Raven perhaps will be able to shut down the Observer. And this is where, once the Observer gets taken down, those Banshees may be able to just deal a lot more damage. And they are really glass cannons, very, very weak units. They take a lot of damage, but then once again are able to deal a lot of damage if they are not destroyed, like many of the cloaked units or burrowed units in StarCraft 2. Another probe now shut down over there. The Banshees perhaps applying pressure, trying to make the game go long. He's not trying to win with these Banshees per se. He just wants to apply enough pressure so that this attack force doesn't move out, as another command center now being built down here. It will get lifted off. A Zealot is already down here as well, and now finally getting the level 1 weapons upgrade. Marines are going to be able to shut down this pylon rather quickly. Down it goes. 2 Marines also walking up. Both players not activating the Zelnaga Watchtower. That poor probe doesn't stand a chance, and once again it does get taken down. There are a decent number of High Templar. The scanner sweep may actually reveal the High Templar there. Yes, a large number of High Templar, a lot of scanner sweep. The Raven perhaps needs to drop a point defense drone, or it may get feedbacked and get destroyed. The point defense drone will be able to shut down a lot of the attacks from those Stalkers, absorbing about 200 damage. And there's that feedback that I mentioned. I don't know why SC did not lay down that point defense drone any sooner, but that was a bit of a problem. As you can now see, the Immortals trying to push their way in, and this is just really, really bad positioning by Hasu. Hasu with the stronger economy, but hasn't really been able to capitalize on his superior base play at all. And instead of seeing Blue Flame Hellions, we are seeing just old school Banshees with siege tanks. And now we are going to see an elevator drop of Marines as well. The Marines do have combat shield. They do have stim, meaning they are going to be dealing a lot of damage in just a few seconds there. Attempting to take down that High Templar, the Templar Archives for that High Templar tech now. As you can see, a 6,100 versus 5,000. Pylons getting destroyed, perhaps trying to supply block, and now we are going to perhaps be getting the flank here. Zealots, Immortals, Psystorm should be coming in just a moment. A very, very deep siege tank line. More Psystorm being swarmed in as well. Banshees up on the high ground, and wow, HasuObs completely devastating this position here. And now the Banshees are trying to come back in, but more Psystorm coming in as well. But Hasu able to trade armies pretty easily, as he does have a stronger economic advantage going into this game. There is only one medevac. The units need to be continued to elevator drop, but a lot of the production buildings are getting destroyed. You can see this orbital command perhaps needs to be reestablished there. Stalkers are on the low ground, and taking a look at the losses are much higher for HasuObs. He doesn't really know how to engage here, and this one warp gate actually blocking himself in a little bit further. You can now see the Vikings are in the air. Stalkers blinking now, able to feed back. And now fighting from the low ground up to the high ground. It looks like the Stalkers may be able to swarm in just enough now. Only one siege tank up on the high ground. The Banshees should be able to finish out the Vikings and now be able to back off there. Production tab. More Zealots are warping in. The Twilight Council, wow, the Twilight Council was shut down, so no more Stalkers, only Zealots at this stage. Zealots and High Templars, that's still a very, very nice army. Zealots and High Templars dealing a lot of damage, as we now see another Nexus being established here. So economic advantage is definitely in favor of HasuObs. Meanwhile, taking a look at the losses, a 5,000 resource difference in the total amount of losses, as now the second base may get destroyed as well. We only see 5 production buildings, and I'm sure that SC has destroyed more than 5 production buildings by this stage in the game. Marauders and Marines now once again pushing through. High Templars, oh, getting a nice Psystorm in. Perhaps even getting a feedback at, oh, another Psystorm coming in. The High Templars could try to do a merge there. No merge, as the Zealots now continue to push. And now the Orbital Command in position. 6 mules can easily be called in. There's 1, 2, 3. And it looks like the scanner sweeps have been used pretty freely so far, so only 3 mules mining here, but that is going to give a very strong income boost. 37 harvesters compared to 70, as this game now continues on. It looks like HasuObs is just playing very slow. He's playing very methodically. He doesn't want to over-engage. He doesn't want to overcommit to a fight and then have to fight his way back in. You can see at SCV, not quite sure how that SCV was able to slip by such a large army there, as we are now going to have pressure coming in from the backside. There is 1 siege tank and a lot of Marauders. I'm not quite sure what exactly he was thinking there. You can also see another High Templar there, as this is going to be perhaps a split, a walk all the way around, picking up this Zealot to join in on the attack. There is an observer which is keeping track of this army, and now it looks like HasuObs finally going for the jugular, and he will have positioning as well. Zealots now pushing in, Stalkers blinking in, getting in a lot of damage here. The Marauders are not quite sure what to do. The Zealots are now chasing up the ramp. SCV is taking a lot of damage as well, as the Zealots are now perhaps going to be able to shut down some of those siege tanks. The Stalkers may be able to blink up onto that high ground, and now just simply walking up the ramp. There you go. And I believe this is going to be very bad, as there's going to be enough Psystorm that SC is not going to be able to push up that ramp all too easily. Another round of Psystorm could be coming in. There's another round there, as now HasuObs dealing his own production damage, shutting down some of those siege tanks as well. The Marauders, if they try to walk up this ramp, are just going to get absolutely destroyed, coming in a single file line. The Stalkers now going after some of the key tech buildings, going after the tech labs, and now the Stalkers looking for a timely escape and able to do so. Very, very nicely done there. You can now see that the Stalkers are now pushing in as the Marauders are now being forced to run all the way back to engage. The SCVs now once again getting destroyed. The Marauders once again trying to stim or stimming and able to engage, but the Stalkers moving at the speed of light with Blink, able to pull back. And now I think the food difference is just too large. Warping in another round of units, I believe. Probes now being transferred over as well. There you go. There's the 5 or so Zealots and a whole bunch of Zealots off in the main base. 1-2 upgrades. Marauders now trying to push in. Oh, but a nice round of feedback coming in as well. Those Marauders don't want to engage. Stalkers also coming in as well. There are only 6 Marauders there, so I believe this small force, or this rather large force, in comparison, will be able to shut that down. And yeah, Hasu just playing a very cold and calculating style. Not over-engaging. You can take a look at the losses. The losses are still higher for Hasu, but the economic advantage is just a little bit too much there. But oh, he may be in a bad trade position here, and this may actually end up dealing him a lot of damage. The Marauders are just poking their way through. Zealots not able to get a decent surround. The Marauders are not upgraded at all, though, so that is the issue. And that trade did not go in favor of Hasu in terms of total resources, but I do believe he still came up ahead, as we now are getting a large number of High Templar warping in. It will be about another 30 seconds or so before they have enough energy for Psystorm. Maybe even 45, as a tactical drop now making its way out. Once again, there is one High Templar with 150 or 200 energy, and now in come the Marauders. Mousesports or Hasu does see this, and what is going to happen? Feedback onto the Metavacs. Where is that Psystorm? There it is. Psystorm Marauders attempting to pull away, trying to snipe down a building, but they're not going to be able to stay stationary long enough to actually shut down this Nexus. It looks like more units are warping in. Stalkers and Zealots are going to re-engage another High Templar with maximum energy. Stalkers attempting to blink in, shutting down the lead Metavac, and another Metavac as well. That lead Metavac did have some cargo, as the Archons are now going to come back as well. It looks like the Metavacs, perhaps with their spider sense, realized that a very large army was coming in as well, and they're just going to hide off in the corner to allow and play a bit more pressure once again. Metavacs, 2 Metavacs, both of them low on energy. Many of the Marauders low on hit points, as they are now attempting to push in. I believe one Psystorm will just be able to clean that up. And is it going to clean up? No, not going to clean up, as there is once again more maneuvering room down here. As there's a Psystorm. Where's the feedback? These units are going to get destroyed, and now Zealots just simply walking straight into the base. And there's the GG from SC. So SC losing game 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for game 2.